Have you ever witnessed an act so blatantly, shockingly evil that you can't even fathom how someone was capable of it? Human beings are capable of some truly lousy behavior. We all know this. We yell at teenage fast food workers because of a discontinued chalupa. We embezzle other people's meager retirement savings. Millions of us set up Ashley Madison accounts. We hit pedestrians and crosswalks because we're rant texting while driving. We leave grocery carts in the middle of really great parking spots. We stink sometimes. But some kinds of evil feel harder to account for. The abuse of children, the trafficking of human lives, neighborhood lynchings. It defies comprehension how an atrocity like the Holocaust could be participated in by so many people like ourselves who have mothers and a favorite pair of slippers. I heard a quote once that I haven't stopped thinking about, that the existence of evil is the most empirically verifiable religious claim. In other words, you don't have to take it on faith. You just have to look at history. It's not only the scale of evil that boggles the mind, there are also particular experiences that can be hard to make sense of. Why do so many sincere, passionate reformers who are put into power so quickly become corrupted? A therapist I know treated a mild-mannered man who was prone to fits of blackout rage that nothing could explain or control. I know people who walk around all the time feeling like there's a voice whispering in their ear that the world would be better off if they left it today. Jesus takes seriously the human contribution to the problems with the world. We're doing more than our share of damage. There's almost no limit to how low we're capable of sinking under the right conditions. But Jesus also takes something else seriously. The world isn't just made of the stuff we can see. And humans aren't the only actors shaping history. There is a good God working to draw everything toward wholeness and freedom. God also has unseen servants called angels, who are sent out on specific assignments to support this work. We've already seen a few of these in Luke, delivering messages. But there is also a resistance afoot. Unseen actors who are hostile to God and who make it their mission to steal, kill, destroy, and enslave whatever God loves. These anti-God forces of resistance can affect systems, groups, or individuals. They stoke fears and whisper lies that distort people's vision and reasoning. They feed the violent energy that turns a crowd into a mob. Sometimes they get their hooks into institutions and twist and spread deceit like an infection. On occasion, an individual cracks a door and finds themselves taken hostage. We saw earlier in Luke 4 that Jesus is on a mission of liberation. Freeing the world involves two kinds of work. One is removal work, expelling forces that twist, enslave, and corrupt. Another is recovery work, healing the damage and setting things right. There are many stories like our own today about Jesus confronting the anti-God forces and driving them away. To be clear, not every bad thing you'll do or witness or experience requires a monster to explain it. When we're hungry or scared enough, we people are capable of plenty on our own. But from time to time, you may encounter something in the headlines or in your own life that's hard to explain in purely material terms. That's no surprise either, because the world is spiritually alive. There are real undercurrents tugging at people, unseen winds that are stoking our fires. And this is worth remembering for two reasons. First, it puts our relationship with people who do evil into perspective. People can be taken hostage by evil. We can be deceived by it. We can even cooperate with it. But at the end of the day, people are not the real enemy. The true enemy is the dark lying powers that have people in their grip. To cast evil out, Jesus must be able to distinguish it from the person loved by God, whom God desires to deliver. Awareness of the different possible contributors to evil is also the first step to building up our toolbox for dealing with it. The Gospels don't tell us about the unseen world so that we'll live in fear. They tell us so we'll avoid walking straight into bear traps. So we'll know that hateful voice whispering to us doesn't represent God. They tell us so we don't go around opening up the wrong spiritual doors. There have always been voices out there offering to contact unseen forces, promising special kinds of knowledge or power. The problem with opening these unmarked spiritual doors is you can't control what enters. Jesus comes only to bring abundant life and freedom. He's the only door it's always safe to open. If you ever think you've found yourself in the presence of one of these forces of resistance, call out Jesus' name and he'll come. Every dark force that encounters Jesus recognizes him. Not one successfully resists him. When Jesus stakes a claim, there's not a power that exists that can stop him. The safest place to be in the world is always beside Jesus. He owns all the ground he stands on. Let's read the story in Luke 4, beginning in verse 31. Then Jesus went to Capernaum, a town in Galilee, and taught there in the synagogue every Sabbath day. There, too, the people were amazed at his teaching, for he spoke with authority. Once, when he was in the synagogue, a man possessed by a demon, an evil spirit, cried out, shouting, "Go away! Why are you interfering with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." But Jesus reprimanded him. "Be quiet. Come out of that man," he ordered. And at that, the demon threw the man to the floor as the crowd watched. Then it came out of him without hurting him further. Amazed, the people exclaimed, "What authority and power this man's words possess! Evil spirits obey him, and they flee at his command." The news about Jesus spread throughout every village in the entire region. I'm Megan LaRosa Good, and this has been Reading Jesus. If you'd like to join me in conversation or ask questions or share your thoughts, you can go to patreon.com/Jesus Collective Community and look for the Luke 4 post. Thanks for spending a few minutes in Luke with me, and I'll see you next time.